Hey, good morning, YouTubers. My name is Vaughn, and I'm vlogging about my 2022 Royal Enfield Classic 350. I got it in May of 2022. That's the first year they've had it in United States. They had it in India the year before, and it is from India. It's a Royal Enfield. They're all made there. It used to be made in Edrich, England, starting in 1901, and about 54, I think they started making the Bullet, which is what this kind of looks like in India. They made other bikes before that in India too for Enfield, and then they started calling it, I think, the Royal Enfield in 54. I'm not sure on that, but you can check the history on that, and don't quote me on any of it. But anyhow, the reason I'm doing this was I wanted to show you these jerry cans I have installed. I had a heck of a time trying to find paint that matched them. None of the aerosols that you get at the local, big hardware stores would match. Nothing was even close. Khakis, this is called desert sand, and khaki is close, but it's way too light. It's more like the khaki canvas bags that you can get from Royal Enfield and put on the back. So anyhow, these are the saddle stands, or the standoffs from Royal Enfield. All I did was, it's kind of hard to see in the shadows here. Let me try this side, maybe that'll show up better. All I did was drill 2 holes on top, 2 holes on bottom, and spaced them 3 7/8 apart, so it's a square. And I can actually turn those cans sideways and put them on, so they're horizontally mounted instead of vertically mounted. But the problem was trying to get that color match, and it ended up pretty good. So I went to the one, after trying the aerosol cans, I went to black, and I did it in black, figuring I just matched the rest of it. Well, I wasn't really that crazy about it. So I went back to the hardware store and got this paint sample from Pittsburg Paint, and I'll give you the card number on the top. You can see that, THD-D14. This is from Pittsburg Paint, and you get several of those. I think I went from 208 or D08 to D17 or something like that in those. So there's a barcode on the back. So this one is called Hindu Lotus. And if I flip that around, there you can see the barcode for that. Now I will tell you this, it looked great when I put it next to the bike. And I'll get in the shade here, get the sun off of it. So there's the Hindu Lotus, and there's the top of the tank. So I think that's a pretty close match. But just to be safe, I went a quart of the Hindu Lotus, and I went with the one up above it, grist mill, and I bought a quart of each just to be on the safe side. It turned out they were both too light. They looked more like this up here and this here. So they were too light, both of them. So what I did was I took the Hindu and added about one, the spray caps on your aerosol cans, I added about 1 cap, or about 1 ounce of black matte, and it's an acrylic that I was using. So I got a little mixture of that in there to tone it down a little bit. And it was still a little bit light, and it didn't have quite that olive green look. So I went back to the big hardware store again, one of the two, where I got the Pittsburg Paint, and I asked the guy if he could tell me what was in the Hindu Lotus for the colors, because I suspect I needed a little bit more green added to my paint, and he told me there's no green in there at all. What I have is a white background, the base, and the colors in there are 3 colors, and they are brown, brass, and copper, believe that or not. So I have no brass or copper. So I did find a little 1 ounce, maybe a 1/2 ounce little can of testers for model planes and model cars, and it was called drab olive. So that was the closest I had to anything green. So I dumped that in there, and this is what I got for the result. So it's pretty close. So that's the sunny side. And this would be like looking back into the sun, so it's going to be a little, you know, shaded on this side and silhouetted from the sun. And I just added those little red insignias, you know, the medical insignias. I used to be a medic in the Air Force, and I thought that'd be, you know, kind of cool just to break it up a little bit. And I also got these, ordered those, you know, online. You can find them almost anywhere. You know, go to the basic place you normally look, and you'll see them. Several different Royal Enfield badges and stuff. And I was looking at some World War II badges and even veteran badges. And so I might just use these jerry tanks and just start throwing a bunch of badges on them. Now the thing I like about it, these are made by Rampage Products. Rampage Products. If I can do this with one finger, sometimes I can get it open, sometimes I can't with one hand. There we go. Anyhow, so I was going to cut these all up, buy jerry cans, cut them up, and I found these by Rampage Products, and they're already done for me. So, you know, and they have a lock on the top. So each one has its own separate keys. They're not interchangeable. So you got to keep them marked separately. And so what I did was I just ran a little black ring around the edge with a magic marker, and then did that on my key. So I've got two keys on here, and one of them has that little bit of black on there, so I can distinguish, you know, the tanks from each other. But they give you a lot of space inside. I can throw a lot of stuff in there. So if I want to go get groceries, there's no problem getting 2 or 3 bags of groceries and stuffing them in there. So anyhow, I think this has been long enough, but I just wanted to give you the color I found, and that these cans are from Rampage Products. They've been out for several years. I think I saw them 10, 11 years ago on some YouTube channels. But I thought this would be a great idea if somebody has the 350 Classic in this finish, or the Marsh Gray, which is more of the Army olive green. They're called the Signals Edition, Royal Enfield Classic 350 Signals Edition. It comes in the olive green, which they call Marsh Gray, and it comes in this lighter kind of a khaki-ish green, which is called Desert Sand. So there you have it, and I hope you enjoy this. Take care.